Hello everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thanks to a comment on the previous video, I'm going to be doing a gameplay video on the WZ-111 1-4 today. It's a very similar tank to the IS-8, which was the video I did yesterday. In my experience, I found that the WZ-111 1-4 sacrifices a lot of the IS-8 strengths in order to gain 40 alpha on the AP, 30 on the heat, and 100 on the HE. So, ultimately, I think the IS-8 is a better tank, but I do like the WZ just because of the higher alpha, allows it to trade better. But if you compare it to the IS-8, whereas I said the IS-8 was kind of an anti-medium tank, mediums can kind of bully this, just because longer reload means that if you miss, you're punished more heavily. It has less DPM, so it can't really out-DPM mediums. IS-8 can't really either, but it has more DPM than this, so it can, on occasion. It can trade better, though, and that's one of the strengths that I'm going to try to be using today. Very similar speed, has 50 kph top speed, 15 reverse, slightly worse power to weight ratio. I actually don't have the top engine unlocked on this one, but it has approximately 10% worse power to weight ratio than the IS-8 and about 4 degrees less ultraverse. But that's enough talking. Get into video, or get into gameplay, and show you what I can do with this thing. I will say, it is nice to have heat on it, even though the heat is less penning than the IS-8s. It allows you to go through many tier 10 heavies. The higher alpha as well. Like the 30 higher alpha doesn't seem like much, but it can make a pretty big difference compared to the IS-8, especially if you're trading with a tank that might have higher alpha than you. Really, as I stated, the main strength is the higher alpha. Its armor is quite worse. I'll show you in battle what I mean by that, but the IS-8 has spaced armor along the sides, kind of has that pike nose. WZ doesn't really have any of that. And this is actually I'd say this is a pretty decent map to showcase the peek-a-boom tactics of the WZ. Yeah, perfect. On this map, there are multiple places you can go, or pretty much two places. The medium side, right around this plane right here, or this area right here is kind of like a heavy tank area, but you can bring pretty much... You could almost bring anything to anywhere on the map, but heavy tanks do work better around this area, and medium tanks do work better on that side. Let's see, though. I'm hoping if someone pokes that corner, it might be good. They didn't, though, so I'm going to do this, take a risk. Nobody's here. I don't want to push up to this corner, because if somebody comes, they could pretty much rush me, but I don't think their team is coming, so I'm going to take a risk. Yeah, we need to be over there to help our mediums out, because I think their heavies went that side. Oh, can I get a shot? That's another thing. This thing's gun handling, well, it is pretty good for a 460 alpha gun. It is not like the IS-8. The IS-8 is the king of gun handling when it comes to tier 9 heavies. This is not at all like that. At least, I think maybe the Conqueror has better gun handling than the IS-8. I haven't played the Conqueror. Oh. I haven't played the Conqueror, though, so I don't want to say yes or no to that, because since I haven't played it, I don't have experience, and I'd rather not comment on things I don't have experience with. Ah, shit, sand. I kind of want to get a shot onto this E75, because he's just sitting there. And is he okay? I don't know, but now he's a one shot. Let's see, come on, get around this corner. Nice. Come on, poke. Okay, he shot. I'm gonna rush him because I want to get him dead so that we can prepare for the enemy mediums who are going to be rushing us extremely hard. That T-49 is a one shot. If he crests this ridge, I'm going to make sure to kill him. They've got a lot of low HP tanks. Their E75 is a one-shot there. I believe their standard B it was. And it's T-40. Oh, great. Thank you, Emil. I didn't have to waste a shot on that. That's nice. Yeah. That's the armor. This thing has a massive lower plate and 2 massive cupolas. It just really does not do well in the armor department. The IS-8, I talked about how I didn't have great armor, but this thing is terrible. It's basically a WZ-111 hull, which, for those that don't know, I've never played it, but according to others, it's not a great tier 8 heavy. Many people believe it to be the worst tier 8 heavy in terms of the 122mm ones. We're going to win this, by the way, because that E75 has 100 HP, and that Standard B is a one-shot. And even though this RIC has about 1,000, yeah, they're going to need to have some really good players to come back from this, and I don't think they're going to be able to. I know I'm kind of... This is going to be a good showcase of why it's not a good anti-medium, although I'm going to be able to deal with him pretty well. Because you can see, even though I have that better alpha, it's not helping me against this medium. But I'm still going to be able to win this fight, this E75. Perfect. Yep, and this is a GG. If that ML doesn't kill the E75, which I don't think he will, I'll be able to use my heat to pen him pretty much anywhere. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, this thing's armor, really not good. Even tier 8 heavies, lowest penning tier 8 heavies, easily go through this thing's cupolas if you try to face hug them. IS-8 does not have that weakness, although its turret cheeks are worse, the IS-8, I believe. Just because it has a slightly flatter turret face. This was a good battle. I like this battle. I believe one of the good plays that was made there was that I didn't sit in that heavy area too long. I pushed up when it became obvious their heavies weren't there. And I was able to help take out that VK and E75, which, even though our mediums did get overwhelmed, they managed to hold them back enough that we could get back and defend and get some good shots in. So I think that was actually a pretty good team effort. The mediums did their job well, despite getting killed. And we got back in time to help out. But yeah, you see these massive cupolas. They're going to be pinned by literally everything. And this thing does have a low hull. Like, if you compare it to the IS-8, I believe it's quite a bit. It's a decent amount shorter. Like, if you're comparing it here, if that top sandbag right there is visible, both of them are visible here. But even though it's shorter, those cupolas still stick out like a massive sore thumb, and unless something has an extremely high hull and low gun depression, which many things tend to not have that combination, they're going to be able to hit those cupolas. But here's also what I was showing you about the flatter turret cheeks. You could aim kind of right there of heat or even AP, and it'll go through if you're really close. This thing has better slopes. You could kind of maybe hit it like right here with heat and it might go through, but usually this turret, other than those cupolas, which really nullify it, it would have a good turret if it weren't for them. It does have spaced armor, like the IS-8, but it doesn't work nearly as well as the IS-8s in my opinion. Like this, look how big the spaced armor is here, whereas here's just like a tiny little sliver, and things tend to... Plus you see how much hole there is underneath. Ultimately, the armor is not to be relied upon. Even side scraping, I've never had a good time with it because people just go through here. Although this is spaced armor, so I think they have to shoot more like here. But you get the point. I'm going to try to keep this video a bit shorter than I did yesterday. Maybe 3 battles, just because I don't think anybody wants to sit around for a 32-minute long video. Especially when, well... Just I don't think anybody wants to sit around for it. Hopefully we keep this one around 20 minutes. Alpenstadt. This is one of my... I don't know. This map is a dual-edged sword. I like to go medium side pretty much all the time. Basically, just... It has more flexibility over there. Whereas going city... Going down on most maps is a bad idea. You can go along this side and have some good results, but ultimately going here, the medium side, is the best play to make in this map, in my opinion. I might get shot crossing, I don't think so. Tanks usually don't come down to this river, from my experience, at least from that spawn, too frequently. So usually you can make this play, get on close to their side of the river pretty easily, but tanks will come there and be able to shoot you from behind, so be aware of that. if you go into the city, which they did. It looks like they did go into the city. There could be a TD in that bush. There might be actually a TD in that bush, considering I just got spotted. Nope, there's a T-49 up there, though. It would have been nice if I had my shot so I could hit him with HE and pretty much take half his HP. It would have taken half his HP because 600 versus 1200. Hopefully he... Nope. I was hoping maybe he would try to escape once he thought he got unspotted. That T-49 is going to try to hit me now. Maybe not. I'm going to try to take out the 704. Might get shot in the rear by the T-49, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. Because this 704 is not going to be good for my team. My team's well-being. Okay, their T-49 is dead. This 704 will be dead by my next reload. I'm going to load heat and aim for his lower plate. 704 has... See, it has really weird armor. The 704 is annoying to deal with frontally. You have to kind of aim for that lower plate because it has a lot of spaced armor. I don't want to get clipped out by this 100, but I will be able to I'll be able to HE his rear if he stays around. He's not, though. .252 is not a tank I really want to face, even as a tier 9 heavy. It's just kind of better than me in a brawl. I want to go help my T-44. I don't think I'll get rushed from behind. Never mind, that ML2 is coming for me, but he should only get one shot into me. That was bad. I hit the track. Should have aimed a bit differently there. That was my fault. I should be able to 1v1 this IS-5 fairly confidently. Especially because T-92 is being helpful. Only one more shot again. This is where the battle ends. We're not going to win this. But I might be able to deal a bit more damage before this goes to shit. Okay, I'm going to get shot one more time. Oh, the T-30 is going to hit me. Oh well. Oh well. I was hoping to get another shot into that ML, but there's no way to win that. Maybe if I had been a bit more aggressive and gone on the bridge instead of kind of going around. Not a great battle. Very low damage. I thought I did better than that. Oh well. Not much more to say than that. Let's go on to the next one. But yeah, the WZ. What are some more points I can make? Gotta think. No, actually, I wrote some things down on paper beside me, so in case this. Its traverse is, I think I mentioned it before. It's worse than the IS-8s by about like 4 or 5 degrees. Not terrible at like 33 degrees with the top engine, but it's really not great. Pretty low for tier 9 heavy, I believe. Alright. This map is another one where there are many options. As a heavy tank, you could go here, but it's kind of easy to get bottled up. If you remember my last video, I went on a rant at the end where there are a bunch of ridges on Falls Creek, I believe the map was, where you could kind of bottle up the enemies. It's a similar thing here, which is why I don't like going there that much, especially if I don't have gun depression, like this, which only has 5 degrees. I'd much rather go the medium side, where there's plenty of hills, so this is a map where I feel comfortable taking on mediums, because I could hide behind a hill and pull back, smack an enemy for 460. Smack an enemy for 460, then pull back. Nice, I did hit him. That was just lag. I was worried, like, it didn't hit him for a second, but I did. That's a waffen. Ooh. Okay, one of the major strengths of this over the IS-8 is the HE. It has 72 millimeters of pen compared to the IS-8, which actually has 75. I looked it up before this video, and I was actually really surprised, because despite having a smaller gun, the IS-8 has 3 more millimeters of pen with calibrated shells. When they're both running calibrated shells, rather. But this thing has 100 more alpha on its HE. It allows it to really trade effectively with thin-skinned TDs, because even like if you go against a TD with 640 alpha, if you hit him with HE, it will be a better trade for them, but you have more HP to trade away. And that's perfect. I love that. I love doing that, hitting the rears of American tanks with HE. For those who who don't know, I'm sure many of you do, but a lot of American tanks have very thin rears. See if this yo is pointing away from me, and then I can show you again. But many American tanks, heavies and TDs, can be penned in the rear quite easily with HE. This AMX, good. That AMX, from what I remember, in test still is a very overpowered tank. I don't know if it is anymore. I haven't played it ever, but it has insane frontal armor, but everything else is pretty weak. Not weak enough for HE though, apparently. Unlike the AMX 50B or the AMX 50-100, which are both extremely thin-skinned French heavies. Their armor is really quite comparable to lights on the side and rear, despite being heavies. But that's kind of their niche. They are very thin-skinned, but they got clips to compensate. Let's see, can I get an HE round to finish him off? Oh, no, never mind. GG. I'm happy with that game. I got around 3.5k. That was a pretty good showcase of that map. Not necessarily this tank, because all I did was really farm damage. I went around the medium side, kind of flanked around the enemy team, managed to get a couple, or at least one HE shot into that T110E3, and just managed to farm pretty well. My team did really well as well. Our heavies really managed to hold the line, and only this one got killed, but I'm sure he got a lot of block damage to compensate. So, ultimately, very nice game. Only 7, yeah, you can see only 7 shots fired, but 3,500 damage. That alpha does kick hard. I did say 3 battles, but I'm gonna do 4, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not gonna do it last time where I say, oh, final battle, and then do 2 more battles after the final battle. Kind of hoping for a new map, because I don't got much to say much more on the WZ, but I do like explaining the maps, because they got neat little characteristics, all of them. Even, like, it's strange, because I remember Mines, like, even though it's, like, the worst map ever, one of my favorites, just because it has that nostalgic feel to it. Normandy. Ah, we got this map yesterday of the IS-8. And I did terribly. I did like 1,000 damage. Let's hope that's not the case this time. I am going to learn from my mistake yesterday and not go to that ridge, because that ridge is not made for tanks with 5 degrees of gun depression. But where I should go instead... I'm not going to go on the ridge, but I'm going to go under it, kind of right there, to dissuade their heavies from pushing around and hitting my mediums in the side. I should be worried maybe about tanks coming from here, like that Progetto did yesterday, but I think going here, I might even be able to get an HE shot on the side of that Leopard. That's something I want to try. Nope. That Jagdpanzer might be in that bush, and I don't want to risk that. Nice. Nice trade, 61. You got it back. Even though that's the worst trade for 61, because he has less HP to, Oh, that's good. Sheridan, yeah. Smack him in the rear of some Oh, that's not good. That ammo just pushed... Our TDs aren't really doing much. Okay. What should I do here? No, I'm not going to ridge fight. I am going to push around this side, try to get an HE into the rear of the ML, which... ML has really weak rear armor. Actually, I'm going to get an HE into that Leopard. That was much better. ML is a threat, but less of a threat than the Leopard, in my opinion. Oh, he's gonna be smart about it and use his gun depression against me. Dang. That... Nice. And he's dead. I'm fine with taking a shot from that Leopard if it meant I'm not fine with this, though. I'm gonna have to reverse very fast. Please only pen one shot. Nice. This is gonna be a loss. That's a shame. I think our, I played decently. Not as well as I could have. But our TDs didn't really do much this match. I don't like blaming losses on my teammates because you could always do better. And I'm not going to blame loss on my teammates because I could have done better. But the 183 and Grill were kind of sitting back there for a while and not supporting us on the ridge fight. That's fine. I didn't do good that battle either. I thought I would have done better considering that HE on the Leopard, but I did finish off that guy and I only got one shot into the Crown Fong, so oh well. What can you do? But yeah, I think hopefully that showcased the WZ pretty well. Again, aim time accuracy are worse than the IS-8. It does not have the same level of on-the-move accuracy as IS-8, not nearly. That's probably why I didn't get along with this tank too well in the first place, because while it is a good tank, undeniable, that high alpha with the heat and the HE, great combination, it just doesn't have the same things I loved about the IS-8. I remember I got the IS-8 and I specifically went for the WZ because, well, it just looked like a IS-8 with higher alpha. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Kind of thinking, yeah, it's just a really overall decent tank. If you like the IS-8, I think you will like the WZ. While it isn't as good, and I think you'd probably prefer the IS-8 more if you really loved it. It's a nice experience having that higher alpha to trade better, and being able to smack like a Waffenträger for 600 HP if they hit you is nice. Because even though you do less damage to them, it's a better trade since they have only like 1600 HP, so you could kill them in 3 hits, whereas if they shoot you with AP, they'll have to kill you in 4. So even though they have a higher alpha, it's a better trade percentage-wise in terms of HP. However, with the Spall liner, obviously, it's questionable whether you want to use HE on Waffenträgers, but I think you get the point. Yeah, that's about it. I will say, last thing is its pen is worse than the IS-8's. The IS-8 has 271 with calibrated shells, so 13 more. And it has 374, so 22 more with heat. And despite it having a smaller caliber, as I mentioned, it has like 3 more millimeters on its HE. Not really important, but worth mentioning. This thing has about 2 seconds longer reload than the IS-8. And something also, compared to other 460 alpha guns, such as the E75, it actually has about a half a second better reload. However, due to the fact that E75 has APCR, I recommend running Rammer on it. So even though the E75 has less reload, or longer reload, due to the fact you'll be running Rammer on it most of the time, it'll actually have a slightly better reload than the WZ. That's it. I'm pretty sure I've milked all the information I can out of this video. So, hope you guys will go out there and enjoy this tank. Even though it wasn't my cup of tea when I first played it, I've learned to enjoy it better. Don't rely on the armor, play Peekaboom, and you should do good with it. That's about it for this video. If you liked it, just leave a like or subscribe. I don't really care, but it does make me feel good when I wake up and look on the video and see a couple likes. So, see you guys next time, and feel free to recommend a tank you want to see in the comments. Bye.